Alright, hello. So, today this is something completely different. So, I did not come up with this on my own. Credit goes to the Reddit for alerting the community of such a thing. This is what everyone is calling Ikeaframe. And it looks a little something like this. So basically, you can construct shelving and furniture and the like out of displays, so that you're not limited to, let's say, the floor for your noggles, and you can have them up in like higher places where you would maybe want to display them. So this is kind of like a basic thing I've done up here, which is just like two displays here that these are resting on, and you can see all of my little Shadow Debt noggles. And there's one behind for expansion if necessary. So originally I had some displays up, like namely this one. I put some more up here because I think they're cool. But this is like next level useful. So real quick, I'm gonna walk through and show what I've done with it. Then I'm gonna explain how you can do it if you want, because it's stupid, but I really like it quite a bit. So let's just get started. So down here, I have a place for my Ayatan sculptures, which this will probably be expanded to the other side as well. And you can see you can actually change and make it look like there's kind of a texture to the displays. Like this one is supposed to be kind of like a wood grain thing. I kind of set this one up just looking at what other people had done. If you want to make that one, I'll show you how to make that specific thing if you want to go with wood. I'd prefer just going with like white and black. That's just me though. Moving on though, this took a little bit of doing, but I set up all of the Warframe noggles and also down like this for expansion on more noggles when we get them. And I really like this because I am a cosmetics piece of shit, as you can probably tell by this Valkyr. And this is absolutely phenomenal. I fucking love this. Like this, I don't know, it's a lot of... Don't patch this. All I'm saying is, please don't patch this, because it's great. Also, the way you make the displays like this, and it's also kind of how you push things out from the wall, like I've done with this to make it go directly under this display. But let's just get started with how you actually do this. So, you're going to have to get some displays. So, be ready to have some, because there's some stacking involved with this to get it to go exactly how you want it. And I'm not going to lie to you. It's a bit tedious. It's not streamlined at all. I don't think we were ever intended to really do this much with decorations. So, first things first, you're gonna want to place a decoration. Now let's presume that I want to put this Excalibur noggle. Let's presume that I want it on like a table per se, like right here, like right in the middle of the room. So, for me, I've completed the Inaros quest and I have all of the Curia. So, because I've collected all of the Curia, or scanned all the Curia rather, it means I have two tools, and I'm going to call them tools, even though that's probably not really what I should be calling them. The Sacred Vessel, which can be used to gain a lot of height and a good tilt on your displays, and the Curia, which is actually a flat platform that you can make in kind of any direction and works really well as an extender, which I know sounds absolutely ridiculous, but bear with me. So first let's just start with the Sacred Vessel. So the Sacred Vessel is curved slightly at the top on both sides, and you can curve things either way, really, on top of it. So we're just going to place that here. And then we'll go into, again, place decoration. And you don't want to use the convex or concave ones, or the arcs, unless, with the exception of if you're trying to actually tilt by degree a certain way. And you can really, if you really work with it, it'll take a while. You can get it like exactly how you want it, like by degree actually. Will take some time though, but for the sake of everyone's sanity, let's just use a flat landscape display. So, flat landscape display, you can see, when placed on top of this, it appears to be completely flat. This, I believe, is at a slight angle, which we will see in a moment. But if I just place that here, you can see that it is here. And you can see it is actually at a slight angle. The top of the urn does usually angle this way. That can be foregone with the Curia, which I'll show in a moment. But once you've done that, say this is like good for you, this is what you want with a table, you can remove the urn and then do whatever you want with this display. This will function as like a base, and you can kind of do whatever you want with it. So that brings us to our next part, which is putting things on top of it. Oh, we'll just use frost. So now you can just freely like use this as a table, and it will function as such for like whatever you want to display. And that's like the basics of it. It's like you can do so much with displays now. And also worth noting, putting stuff on top of it doesn't lock you out of customizing your display. So you can just go back into this and say I wanted to have a like all white background. I would open this one up. This one has an all black background. Scale the image way up, go over into the corner, and then I can just do negative. Now I have an all white table. Or alternatively, you can obviously you can do some other things. I'll show the wood grain one, like the exact setup that is like what is wood grain. Not really, but it gives that. It looks enough like that. Like that's how you do white. You can do no. Oh yeah, no. You need a base of white to have like red, and then you can do contrast usually gives you a blue, I believe, and then cross process also changes some things. Basically, you can get a lot of colors going in here. If you're just going for like black and white, just choosing the black background image is fine. This is a fan art, so you're gonna always have access to it. I'll show. I think there was one that was good for white. I believe you can use this one. If you scale this image way up, I think you can do it. Yeah, there we go. So that's negative. So then I can go to. Oh, no, it's too far to the side. Okay, scale it up even further. Yeah, a little harder on the larger objects. On the panel objects, this is actually much easier to find a nice white image, which is what I mostly use. I mostly use that image for my panels, not any of like my larger table things, which I like to just use actual images for. But yeah, the wood grain one is this. It'll obviously be harder whenever it's a larger thing. You can have it be something like that. I'll show that one over there specifically. Yeah, so you can have it just free floating, and you could just you could delete this display under it just to have your noggles floating around as well if you were to choose to do that. I'll show what this like little combination of things is. That's the specific setup for panels to get them to look this way. And then obviously you can just like take things off of here at will, of course. Now, for something a little more complicated, like this, setting this up is a bit more of a chore. As you can see, these are all at a slight angle because I started this with the urn because I wanted them all to actually tilt in a little bit. That was kind of the goal. But as for panels that are like this, I actually used the Curia, and you can see that's pretty much flat up off the ground. And then this one here was used with the urn. You can see it's at a slight angle. And then this one is about at max height that you can reasonably put noggles on top of, unless, with the exception of being above objects. So if you can't get above this, it becomes incredibly difficult to place things on top of it for obvious reasons because of the way placing decorations works. So yeah. And then I'll just give an example of how the Curia works. So, say I have the Curia, and this will work from like just flat straight down if you wanted to have a perfect like straight up and down like flat surface. You would have to use the Curia. That's the way I found to do it. Alternatively, you can stack a lot of displays one on top of the other, but that is incredibly slow. The Curia is actually a lot taller for this purpose than you might imagine. But to show a little something different, we'll put it right here on this wall. And you can see like this is a really weird wall that is like really weird and curvy. But if I get it on this flat part, it's at a tiny angle, not a big deal. Take another one of these, and we'll use a poster. So I take this poster and line it up with the Curia. Oop. Oh, shit. I didn't line it up properly. Sure. lined it up with the Courier, spun it around, and placed. So you can see the Courier actually works as like a perfect, like straight, just extender. And beyond that, you can use it as a direct extender off of things. So if I wanted to do this and get things into like a really specific position, or for example, you could block off this entire thing with panels if you were so inclined, and like make them all black to make this just look like it was the end of a hallway if you really wanted to. But for the sake of brevity, we'll just put this at like the bottom here. Put it right down here. So now I've moved this down here. So we went from that midpoint where we got that angle, and we've transferred it down to where the Courier is now due to the length of this panel here. Which means, take this, say we'll take this panoramic, and now you can take that, move it down, it'll be at the same angle that you previously took from that top part with the Courier, and extend that out, and now you have that angle that you would not otherwise be able to get down here. So as you can see, the Courier is actually a really good tool for this, because otherwise you'd have to stack about 4 or 5 displays to get that same effect, and then there's obviously like the inaccuracy of stacking multiple things one after the other, and you know, human error, that type of stuff. But yeah, that is that's like the basics of a Ikeaframe. It's actually really cool. Like you can, like, I mean, based on this, to me, this is a really cool thing. That like I never expected displays to be able to be used for this function. It's pretty awesome. I really like it a lot, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed this, because I know it's a really weird thing, but I think it was worth showing off in case you guys missed it. And I believe you guys on console have access to this now and should be able to do this. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. This has been a weird one.